Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. There is no fan on this evening because, well, quite frankly, it's a bit chilly today. So right now the time is approximately 9:34 p.m. and the current date is Saturday, October 22nd, 2016. So, one thing that I have been dealing with the last few weeks is something that many people call depression. Now, I don't like to use the term depression because, number one, I have not been clinically diagnosed as being depressed. And number two, I find that these days that term is used frequently. I would even say that that term is used, well, overused actually. But one of my favorite books is Louise L. Hay's Heal Your Body. And in fact, as some of you know, I always carry a copy of this book in my bag with me wherever I go. And I'm going to read to you what Louise L. Hay wrote about depression. And I find that it is very accurate. Anger you feel you do not have a right to have. Hopelessness. Whether I like it or not, after the Divine Prosperity event that I led at Catland on Friday, September 30th, 2016 from 7 to 9 p.m., I definitely felt depressed. I definitely felt angry, and I felt that I didn't have the right to feel angry, and I felt hopeless. And I know why. Because 4 people said they were going to be there and they weren't there. And this is not the first time that's happened in my professional career as a professional metaphysical teacher. But this was the first time that I really said to myself, you know what? I need to acknowledge that I am really feeling miserable about this. And that I'm feeling angry about this. And that I'm feeling upset about this. And I decided to write an email earlier today to the people whose email addresses I have, as well as with whom I'm also friended on Facebook. And I basically said, look, I have seen Facebook event pages for years where certain people said they were going to be there and they weren't there. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just not dealing with it anymore. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired and feeling sick and tired of seeing people indicate that they're going to attend something and then they're not. And they're not even going to have the common decency to say, well, I couldn't make it because of X, Y, and Z. And, let me tell you something. I am a very powerful witch. And there was some amazingly powerful magic that took place the night of this Black Moon Divine Prosperity event. It was amazing, in fact. But I couldn't really appreciate that powerful magic because I felt angry and I felt upset and I felt like I'm wasting my time being a professional psychic. And why am I spending all this time, energy, and money to do all these things if nobody's going to appreciate it? This anger and resentment and bitterness and unforgiveness absolutely affected my physical health and well-being. It absolutely affected my emotional health and well-being. It affected my interpersonal relationships to a greater degree. It affected some interpersonal relationships to the point that they didn't even begin, never mind even continue. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to do something. So the one thing that I'm doing is I am saying goodbye to Facebook. I am tired of using Facebook. I am tired of what it does to my time, mainly wastes it. I'm sick and tired of seeing people who say they're going to attend events and then they don't attend events. And frankly, with regards to my prosperity factor, in the according to Facebook, I have been actively using Facebook since 2009. The current year is 2016. Let's see, I can't figure out the math right now, but I'm going to say in the last 7 years that I have been actively using Facebook, I have physically manifested 3 clients. 2 new, 1 not so new. And you know what? That's not a pretty good track record as far as I'm concerned. Whether now more than ever I am being brutally honest and brutally realistic with what is or is not an investment of my time, energy, and money regarding my professional psychic practice. Actively using a social media platform and physically manifesting 2 new clients and 1 return client in 7 years is absolutely positively not a worthwhile investment. Whereas I've been actively using my YouTube channel for less than a year, and in that year I've already physically manifested 1 new client and 1 potential client. I think that's a pretty good track record, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything that's given me the impression that that's wrong. And I'm enjoying YouTube a whole lot more than I'm enjoying Facebook. And I have come to the conclusion that for the sake of my complete physical, emotional, sexual, spiritual, financial, mental, and psychological health and well-being, I can no longer afford to have Facebook in my life. I can no longer afford to use Facebook. I know that some people are going to be very upset about this, and some people will be very inconvenienced about this, but as I said in this broadcast email that I wrote earlier today, the fact of the matter is that I really look at everything from the perspective of, okay, so this is what I need to do, this is what I need to consider, I need to talk about this person's feelings, I need to consider this person's feelings, but this is the first time in my adult life that I have looked at something along the lines of first, foremost, and only. Meaning I am looking at my health and well-being regarding using Facebook first and foremost and only. Meaning that I am not taking anybody else's feelings into consideration. I'm not taking anybody else's opinions into consideration. I am simply looking at this like, okay, is this, because at this point, it's either this is going to help me or this is going to harm me. And frankly, I do not relish the thought of having to take prescription medication for depression in addition to taking prescription medication with regards to healing my physical heart. And by the way, I have set a timer for myself so that I will not run on more than 12 minutes. So I am currently at less than a minute. And I needed to do this because my previous videos, which you haven't even, well, by the time you watch this video, the other 3 that are in the queue will already be uploaded. But there will be more about this, not too much more. And I know that I need to do a massive series of videos, maybe like a 2-part or 3-part video with regards to what the aftermath of this decision is going to be, but I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. And for the record, I do feel a whole lot better physically and emotionally. So, YouTube, thank you very much for understanding. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for honoring who I am and what I do. Thank you for availing yourselves of my psychic services, those of you that have. And thank you. Ooh, that's loud. And that's the minimum volume, by the way. It cannot go any lower than that. Yeah, so thank you again. I will be updating you shortly or sooner than later. And I wish all of you a beautiful and blessed weekend and rest of the month. Good night.